Hey, welcome back to another episode of Jaden and James Real Estate Podcast, where we talk about real estate and whatever else comes up. How's it going, Jaden?
Going pretty well. How you doing?
Good. We're not gonna lie. We were just doing another video, so we've already been talking. We got the small talk down, so we'll just head right into the video. This is another video. Jaden and I, we're really getting some really good. I guess not reviews,
Feedback,
comments like, hey, these doing these reaction videos are pretty neat. So we're gonna keep doing them. So why not? I mean, I think everybody learns something a little bit new, and we can ride somebody else's wave, or they can ride ours. Either way. So I think it's a good thing. So today, do you know much about this one or not?
No clue, no idea.
I have absolutely no clue. Do we have any teaser, Brady, or are we just going to do it?
Let's just watch it. Oh, it says, what does it say? A shift in the real estate market is happening. Okay, let's play it.
Oh, I guess if you read, you can actually see that. Okay, perfect. Ready to go, Brady. All right, let's play it.
Hey, everybody, Real Estate Ninja here. I want to talk about what I'm seeing in the real estate market right now. Now, I live on the western side of the United States, but this exact same phenomenon is happening all over the country. Some parts of the country are going to be more accelerated, more drastic, and then some are going to be more muted. But what I'm seeing is not only are we seeing a increase in activity because of the spring season, but we are starting to see, for the first time in many years, sellers really become fearful and start to aggressively market their properties. The other day I went to an open house, beachfront property, or oceanfront, and they had lowered the price $50,000 the day before the open house, which I believe is absolutely ludicrous. If you're trying to grab attention for your open house, lower it like $1,000 to pop it up number one on the MLS under price changes.
Pause.
But to drop it 50,000.
If he's talking a beach house that's on, we're talking $1 million.
Well, it could be multi-million dollars, might be $3 million or something.
You don't drop $1,000. They laugh at that. So I 100% calling BS on that right out of the gates, because you actually have to go 25, 50 increments. If you go $1,000, he's right. You're going to put it up at the top, but that's not going to change anything.
It depends on what the sellers want. Do they want to tell the market that they're serious about selling this, and they're really serious about looking at whatever offers come in, and don't be shy about sending me a little bit of a lowball offer? Some people want that to be the message, and
right.
That's the message they're going to send by having a huge price trap before an open house. You're going to tell people like, hey, we're pretty motivated here. Send us an offer.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
It depends. If your seller is motivated and wants out and is okay with dropping the price, then that's what you should do. If the seller really is rigid and wants the highest possible price, then don't do that.
But again, we don't know what if we don't really know the value. Maybe they went in way too high and they went, oh, hey, let's lower it down. And that could have been 100% a strategy where, hey, they went 50K too high. Now they're coming out at the market at exactly where everything else is. People now think they're getting a hell of a deal.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things. It could be if it's a $5 million house, they dropped to $50,000. That's only 1% of the price. I mean, it's like nothing. Right. So it just all depends on the situation. So anyway, let's roll this and keep watching.
Let's give them more of a chance, I guess.
Before you're supposedly about to pull an open house that's going to attract a bunch of potential buyers to look at your home, you want that wiggle room right there. It only spells desperation. I've seen agents recently say, I think I priced this wrong. It's too low because I have a bunch of people showing up, yet only 2 people made offers and the price was dropped 50 cents on the dollar. When you look at the average per square foot price that are selling in the area. I'm seeing a lot of agents now. As a matter of fact, I don't know one single agent that is saying this is a good market. Everyone's like, this is a tough market. This is a tough market. It's like sellers have finally capitulated.
It's not that it's a tough market. It's not the last 3 years where everything was flying off the shelf.
Well, I would go back further than that. So this hot market we've been in goes back to 2014.
Sure.
If you can believe that. It just got hotter every year since 2014. So it's been progressively harder and harder to buy a house since about 2014. Because I picked that because 2013 is when I stopped like buying every house I could get my hands on. Because in 2013 the market was ridiculously good and nobody was buying houses. And in 2014 I had to stop buying houses, and then ever since then it was like every year it would get harder and harder and harder to buy a house. And so now this is the first time, and then it peaked through COVID. It got ridiculously hard, and so that's what put us 12 years. We're 12 years into this run, and now this is the first time in 12 years where you're seeing what happened in 2013 and 2012 and all the years before 2013. This is how the market was. So it's gonna start going back to something probably not as extreme as that, but more balanced. Where
I agree.
As he's talking, I think what I'm thinking of is like the past few years, everybody's like, well, there's so many buyers and there's not enough houses. So if my house doesn't sell for the price I want, I'll just take it out the market and sit on it for another year. And then I'll just try again next year. And I don't need to sell it. And I don't want to sell it that bad. And it's a scarce asset. So I really don't need to sell it. And, but now if you've got a situation where there's 1,000 houses for sale on the market in your area or whatever, and there's only 500 buyers for the houses of the 1,000 houses, but there's 1,000 people that want to sell their house. Well, only 500 of them are going to actually get their house sold. So what are the other 500 going to do? So probably you would say, well, the other 500 are going to have to sit and wait and sit and whatever. But what if you have 1,000 people that really want to sell their houses? Then what? Now you're going to have to fight to be one of the 500 that gets picked. And this is the first time this has happened in a long time. So he's talking about this $50,000 price drop. Like, well, that person maybe wants to be one of the 500 that gets picked and sells their house. And the people that didn't drop their prices maybe won't sell their house. You know, they might, it may be that what I've seen in Florida here is people have been the last 4 years just pulling it off the market. I'll sit on it, pull it off the market. Every year they do that, they throw it back on the market the next year, and all the prices went down 7%.
Yeah.
Well, what's good now? You're starting at a 7% lower basis now. And then I've seen people do this for 4 years. Every year, ride the wave down 7%. Well, what if you just dropped it 7% the first year and sold it? You'd be done, you know? These cycles last years.
Year, but we hit a hard one though, Jane, and I believe is everybody, because it's COVID and everybody was paying attention to the news and everybody, you know, was doing real estate. So that's why I think it's more prominent right now.
Sure. It's because COVID was just like 2005. It was like the same thing. The market was ridiculous. People were bidding things. A house get listed for 500 and sell for 600 the next day. Like that was 2005. The same thing happened in 2020, 21. And then what happened after 2005? You had a couple of years of like stagnation, like 06 and 07 and half of 08 was just like this stagnant market that was kind of sideways and maybe down a little bit, and foreclosures were coming up a little bit. And then in 08 is when it just completely flipped, and the inventory surged and the buyers evaporated. Because once the inventory starts going up and everybody starts to realize that housing isn't scarce and it's not hard to buy and it doesn't just go up every year, everybody just goes, whoa, this is a completely different situation than the last 12 years. Right. Now I don't even know what to think. What are these houses even worth? Nobody knows anymore. So then it'll have to reset back down to something that's more based on like, well, how much does it rent for? That's what happened in 08 is the prices went back down to, well, if nobody knows what the houses are worth, who can buy them? Well, an investor can buy them and rent them out. And what price is he willing to pay for the house? And that's what the prices went down to. They went from 08 down to 2013 down to those investor prices, basically. I don't know if that'll happen now or not, but at some point, if there's a surge of inventory, there has to be something that balances the demand side of it out.
Right. All right, let's hear the rest of this video. It's not much left, I don't think.
Capitulated along with the agents because the agents have really capitulated and say, hey, you know what, this isn't the market we used to be. We need to come in strong, hard, with a good price and fast to try and scoop up a potential buyer because of FOMO. And so this is happening all around the country. Now, spring is usually that time when people sell more than winter and fall, obviously. However, with the inventory that came in through the winter that hasn't sold, and then the spring stuff stacking on top of it, what's going to be really interesting is over the next 30 and 60 days, watching homes stay on the market for that long, and then how much they capitulate. I am seeing in my local area, homes, once they drop 10% in one whack, they go contingent. Another thing that I'm seeing is a lot of homes in a very desired area. This is, I mean, where Larry Ellison lives and all that stuff. I mean, like all the wealthy billionaires have homes in this one area that I'm looking at. And they, homes that were in contract a month or 2 months ago have all fallen out of contract. I just saw approximately 10% of the market fall out of contract in this one area. It blew my mind.
Let's stop that. So he lives in California. He's talking about like Menlo Park or something by San Jose, Silicon Valley, where these super wealthy people live. I'm like, I mean, I don't want to be mean, but like, this is not going to inform anybody else in the rest of the country as to what the housing market is doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
But like, this isn't going to tell you anything about what's happening in Minnesota or Ohio or Florida or anywhere else in the country.
Hey, our best advice that we were given from somebody else, or who, it's like, look around, know your market in your area. Just know that.
Yeah,
you're going to get ahead.
So, like, why is Menlo Park or Palo Alto doing? I don't know. I kind of don't care, honestly. Those people are all super wealthy, and if they decide they want to pay 10% less for a house, I really don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter to me at all. It's not my world. I don't know anybody in that world. Their world is affected by stocks and tech company income. And unless you're living in that area and you're in that industry and stuff, this is kind of an irrelevant. Unfortunately, I don't think this is that relevant for you. But
Brady, you can take this screen off and just put Jaden and I on here. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, some of the stuff he's saying, like we are seeing, like in Minnesota, the spring market in Minnesota is usually like crazy hot. Like, people come out of the hibernation of the wintertime. Wintertime, you can't sell a house to save your life because it's cold and snowy and nobody wants to leave the house. And then in January, the spring market turns on and then it gets hotter and hotter and hotter through end of May. And like you can do nothing wrong usually March, April, and May in Minnesota, the housing market. Like everything sells. Everything goes fast. It's just like, that's how it's been for, 12 years. And this spring, we are not seeing that. We were expecting, we had a lot of inventory going to market in the spring here, and it's not happening. We're just not seeing it. We don't see the usual spring appetite for housing. So people are getting cautious. I don't know if it's Iran war, probably. But when there's wars and things and uncertainty, there's war going on. You got oil prices shooting up, gas prices shooting up, inflation. People are worried about losing their jobs because of AI now. There's not been a lot of layoffs, but people are worried about it. In Minnesota, you had the ICE stuff going on, all this ICE protests and stuff, and a couple people got killed. And Minnesota was especially crazy, but the rest of the country is experiencing a lot of this stuff too. And I think people are just kind of like, there's more fear. There used to be, I think when people bought houses traditionally, there was some healthy amount of fear involved in buying houses because it's the biggest purchase of your life. And there should be a little bit of fear so you don't screw it up. And over the last 10 years, that fear has been completely gone because it's like, well, just do anything and you'll make money owning a house, So, yeah, I was just saying that we lost James for a second there, but in Minnesota, the spring market, we're, at end of April here, this is essentially should be the peak of the spring market in Minnesota. And we're not seeing the appetite for buying houses like we have in the previous, I would say, 12 years. So if you look at the spring market right now, there's two things that could happen. I think the spring market could get delayed a little bit into the summer because of all the stuff that happened in Minnesota, the ICE protests, and then the Iran war starting and all this different stuff. Maybe we'll see some of that demand just later in the year now. I think we will see
what I'm hoping for.
I think we'll see some of it, but it's not going to be the voracious appetite for buying houses because it's probably going to be spread out a little bit and, and probably not as aggressive as it usually is. So I think we'll see it through the summer a little bit, but it makes me think if the spring market's this weak, we could be at a turning point in the housing market in Minnesota. This is probably the case in other areas as well, because Minnesota isn't that different than a lot of especially the middle of the country. So if Minnesota's going to kind of roll over here in the housing market a little bit, probably the middle of the country is doing something similar. And I would just say, we always see a 10% drop in prices through the winter. maybe it'll be 15% this winter, you know, because the spring market's been so weak. Because now if you look at like us, if we're buying stuff in the fall and winter to go sell in the next spring, we now have to recalibrate much lower because we can't count on a strong spring market again next year. We won't. We'll be a lot less aggressive. We're not going to be aggressive at all. We're going to be very conservative and cautious with buying stuff in the fall and winter now. So that's my 2 cents on that. Yeah, I don't know. Let's not pick videos in California in the future, I guess, because I don't know if California helps anybody else that much.
No, that definitely he's definitely not going to help us out. But you know what? I still like ripping on the guy, so that was fun.
Just interesting stuff. I mean, I don't know. Who knows how the market in California works? Like, maybe what he said about the $50,000 price drop was completely accurate for California. I don't know. It isn't necessarily true anywhere else.
No, it isn't. So, hey guys, if you like what you're listening to, if you listened to us before, you haven't clicked that like button, please click that like button below, and you know, give us a comment. You know, if you want to say something, maybe you don't like Jaden's hat, but you like mine. I don't know. Just put it in the comments, and we'll go from there. Hey guys, it was great to coming at you. Just remember, we made the mistakes,
so you don't have to.
See you later.